Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. I have an apology. Simple Stamping Saturday didn't happen, so we're having Simple Stamping Sunday. Yesterday went a little mad. I was doing designer series paper, retired designer series paper packs, and my day just disappeared. There are still a few left. There's also still time to order my product shares. I will try and link both of those posts in the description bar below. Product shares deadline for ordering and paying is tomorrow, the 22nd. The order's going in on the 23rd. So just so you know, and there's also the virtual launch party on the 11th. So do have a look at that. But Simple Stamping Saturday +1. Posted for You stamp set, which is in the new annual catalogue, and it comes bundled with the postage stamp punch. Do remember that during June, if you wanted to join my team, you could add any bundle to your starter kit, and remember you put whatever you want in the starter kit up to a value of £130 or €175 if you're in France, Germany, Austria or the Netherlands, and it's £99 or €125, free postage. Great time to join. I've already had quite a few people join my team this month. I would love to welcome a few more. I've even got parts of my welcome card ready to go. Anyway, back to Simple Stamping Saturday +1. So I'm using Posted for You, and this is the card I've come up with. It's quite different for me. I'm actually using markers rather than blends for this. If I used blends, it would bleed through, but by using markers, it doesn't. And I've also used the single black marker. This is the only marker you can get on its own, but it's quite useful for things like drawing shapes around. And of course, we've stamped on the envelope. So let's get started. I have a white note card, ironed, and obviously an envelope, which I'll pop out of the way for the moment. Post-it notes are your friend for this. So I'm just going to line those up along the crease so that we don't go over the crease, because that is not a good look. So just overlap them very slightly because I need them to go all the way. So that is that. The first thing I'm going to do is stamp my image in the centre. This is where I hope I get as central as possible. This is one of those load, aim, fire moments. So I'm standing on tiptoe, load, aim, fire. So I'm hoping it's straight and reasonably central, because by the time I've drawn a rectangle round it, we will know if I've gone wrong. So that's that. Just going to grab a ruler and let's pop this so that it's square on the grid paper, and then I can line up sort of straight on that. Might actually use a longer ruler. There we go. Now, if you're using a ruler, this is something we were told at school, if you're going to be using a wet thing, so a pen obviously is wet, put your ruler so that the beveled side is underneath, and then you won't get horrible lines onto your ruler. Just saying. I went quite close to the last one, so if I line up the 6-inch mark, then that should, whoops, be about right. And then join those two lines, and I'm going to have to extend my top line, but that's fine. Made a bit of a boo-boo of that, but it's fine. We're going to be putting stripes all over the place, so it will be all right, she says with her fingers firmly crossed. Okay, so I'm just going to grab a piece of scrap, which is the piece of scrap I've already used, and all I'm going to do is put down one line, and it will become apparent why I'm using these colours when we get to the casual and avid versions. So that's the only line I'm actually going to put down. Everything else I'm going to do by eye. I know, frightening, isn't it? But the whole point is that this is not perfect, which is just as well. Now, the only tricky bit is up against the rectangle, because you do want that to be reasonably well filled in, but you can go back and titivate like that. So you want it to look as if the I'm actually going to just pop that down as a guide. You want it to look as if the image is on top of the lines. I'm just going to do the lines that are going into the image, just so that I know that those are all right. Okay, and then it's just a question of filling them in. So this one wants to go both sides. But as I say, it's not meant to be neat, and I will show you why in a moment. I mean, it's meant to be, you know, okay. It's just not meant to be absolutely straight. So I hope you are enjoying the weekend. In the UK, we have got a heat wave coming. So next week is supposed to be up in the low 30s. Yes, I did say 30s. So last week it was almost Arctic. Certainly early spring-like, as opposed to we're now in summer, technically. Because today, well, last night was the solstice, or this morning was the solstice. I'm never quite sure. Anyway, we've had the longest day. How depressing is that? I don't like it when we've had the longest day, because then it means it's downhill to winter. And I know the autumn-winter catalogue is coming out soon for demonstrators. We get to look at it in about 3 days' time, and we get to pre-order in July, which is kind of frightening. So the C word is going to be with us very soon, the C word and the H word. So yes, keep your eyes peeled for that. And I don't feel as if we've had summer yet. With all the lockdown and things, it's just odd. But anywho, so I'm just going to come in, and I'm not going to fill in the whole of the gap, but just quite a lot of it. And as I say, it doesn't matter if we're a bit skew-whiff. Just don't want to go over my rectangle. I was going to say square, but it's not a square. So yes, so we're going to have hot weather this coming week, which is going to be fun, because we're going to meet up with some friends, socially distanced, to have a picnic and possibly go swimming in the river, because that's allowed. We are always very safe when we do that, because you can get into trouble if you're swimming in open water, but we are always very safe when we do it, and we make sure that everyone's not swimming at the same time and all that sort of stuff, just in case someone gets into difficulty. And knowing my luck, that would be me, because I'm the least strong of the swimmers. I have been known to do the are you waving or drowning, and it was drowning on one particular occasion when we were swimming in the sea once. A wave caught me and took me off the edge of a ledge, and suddenly I was out of my depth and did panic a bit. So yes, that was fun. I use the word loosely. Okay, so now we've just got to colour in our image, and the reason I left colouring in until last is because Memento is water resistant, not waterproof. So I wanted the stamping to be as dry as possible. And this is where, with these markers, it's great because you've got a narrow and a fat end. And you can get the whole of the Brights family, which is what these markers are from, in a pack. Or you can get the whole of the Colour Family markers in the Many Marvellous Markers pack, which means you get every colour that isn't an in colour, which is always fun. And you can, of course, get the in colours in the packs of 5. So, just concentrating. Can you hear the cogs ticking away while I concentrate to try and keep inside the line? Just want to do the finer bits first, and then I can come in with the fatter end and do those. Now, if you're worried about going over the edge when you do your lines, you can always use a post-it note to cover up. So you can use post-it notes on the edge here and on the whole of the square. Obviously you'll have to cut it quite carefully to be the right size, but it's doable. And I would certainly recommend a post-it note rather than washi tape. Washi tape, unless you've taken most of the stick off, can pull up the paper because it gets into the fibres. Right, moment of truth. So let's remove that, which looks fine, and fold that in half. And then actually I do just need that for the envelope. So let me grab my special delivery stamp and my Memento ink. I'm just making sure I've got the envelope the right way up. Should I do it that way? Where did I do? I did that way before. Let's do that way again. And just a little bit off the edge. Okay, so fold my card in half. And you know what I'm going to say. If you're a new crafter and you don't already have one, a bone folder is a highly recommended item. So there is our pretty card. So let's get those out of the way. So that's the one that we've just made. This is the one I made before. And then for my casual crafter, I have introduced some of the pattern. Now, what's it called? Playing with Patterns Designer Series paper, which is gorgeous. And I've also used, now where did that come from? I think it's the Forever Fern ribbon, or trim I should say, because it's obviously not ribbon. It is, yes, the Forever Greenery trim combo pack, and this is the gold trim, and I've just unwound it so it's lots of threads, and then I've heat embossed the outline. What I actually did was I put the stamp onto my Stamparatus, stamped very lightly in Petal Pink ink, coloured it in, then went back and stamped with Versamark, and because it was on the Stamparatus it lined up perfectly, so I could then do the Versamark on the top, and then punched it out with the punch. And then for our more avid crafter, I've introduced some gold foil, the same trim, the same image in the centre, and I've done a rectangle of gold foil as well. And this was using one of the stitched rectangles, but cutting it down to size. So I ran it through the die cut twice to get it to the size I wanted. So those are my 3 cards. So I hope you enjoyed that. You can see now why I've done this diagonal. It's to mirror this. If you wanted, you could bring in the Petal Pink to do the lines in between, but I wanted to stick within one colour family, and these are all in the brights, so that was why I did just the 2 colours. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't already. I'll list everything I've used below, and there'll also be links to my paper shares and my DSP, retired DSP packs. So enjoy those. Thank you very much indeed. Sorry this was late, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye!